Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
I'm with Sitaram Yechury, the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, Marxist, the CPM. Not just a politician of many decades, but also an astute political observer whose party, the CPM, as we know, leads the Left Democratic Front in Kerala, which is expected to buck the political convention and come back in the elections in Kerala over the next few weeks. We will talk about Kerala, West Bengal, and all the other states that are going to the polls. Mr. Yechury, welcome to ThePrint.
Thank you very much.
So, congratulations. Our congratulations in order. Your party is coming back in Kerala.
Well, it's a very good thing. I think after 4 decades or so, or more than that we are breaking the trend of a change in the government every 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it's a very positive thing. I mean, that is primarily because of the work done by the incumbent government. Mm-hmm.
The Pinarayi Vijayan-led government.
And because this was a period of many natural disasters, apart from the COVID.
Yeah.
And the initial handling of the COVID pandemic also, globally appreciated of the Kerala model.
But cases continue to surge in Kerala. In fact, it's a bit of an outlier. Right?
No, it is in the sense that it has got the largest influx of people coming in from abroad. Mm-hmm. And as all of us know, there are a large number of Kerala people who are working in particularly the Gulf countries and all over the world actually. Right. I mean, you will find them everywhere.
Sure.
So once they keep returning back, the new strains start coming in. Mm. And you had the UK strain, you have the South African strain, you have the Brazilian strain, and these sort of things. And Kerala is most exposed amongst all the states in India. Because if you remember, the first case of corona was actually in Kerala.
Yeah, that's right.
That way from Wuhan. when
some of come back from Wuhan. But what does this mean, Mr. Yechury? Does this mean that the Congress-led UDF, the United Democratic Front, which alternates with the LDF every 5 years, why has it become so weak that you are coming back?
Well, it's not so much. I mean, there are two aspects to it. One is the positive evaluation by the people, by the electorate, as far as we are concerned. And the other one was the lack of complete cohesion in terms of actually mounting an opposition to us. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, very unfortunately, the Congress party and the UDF was playing in tandem with the BJP.
In Kerala?
In Kerala, attacking the LDF government.
But Rahul Gandhi is an MP from Wayanad. Are you saying that he was in tandem with the BJP?
No, the Kerala unit has been playing in tandem with the... I mean, look at this gold smuggling case.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic case where gold smuggling is a central issue. Mm-hmm. And why is it that after the BJP government came in the center, why is it that after that you find these gold smuggling cases, particularly in Trivandrum?
Are you saying that the Enforcement Directorate is up to no good in this particular...
Not only not up to no good, it is acting as a political agent. Like it's been acting all over the country, as a political agent of the ruling party at the center.
But Swapna Suresh, who has been... there is a recording of hers saying that she gave the money to the chief minister.
Yeah, exactly. But this was done 4 months ago. Why was it brought out now after elections were announced?
No, it's been around.
No, it's been around. But why was it submitted by the ED to the courts now after the election? That lets the cat out of the bag.
So the ED is the cat's paw of the Modi government.
Absolutely. I mean, that has been the general experience all across the country. ED and the CBI, unfortunately, who are supposed to be premier investigative agencies in the country, independent.
But what about the Congress-led opposition? Why has that become so weak?
Well, because of the bereft of any issues. You see, people in Kerala, number one, is the most literate state in the country, most conscious voters, and they have, hats off to them, that they have always kept the government on its toes, whether UDF or LDF,
right,
by this change every 5 years, so that you have to deliver. That's why even the character of the opposition parties that you find outside of the non-left opposition parties in other parts of India, that's not the same in Kerala. I mean, they're much more, but relatively much more honest.
So what is the reaction to Congress leaders when they campaign in Kerala?
Well, I said the traditional support base is there. I mean, it's always been there. I mean, that will remain, I'm sure, with them. But beyond that, to get hold of this millennials, so to speak, I mean, that imagination of what is required for them, they don't seem to be having.
Meaning what? The millennials don't have an imagination?
No, billionaires have. I'm talking the Congress party.
Okay.
Not having, I mean, what are the aspirations of these millennials? What do they want? I mean, the left has been much more perceptive and much more understanding.
Okay. But you had Rahul Gandhi when he was in the St. Joseph's College, and he went to the college and he was doing push-ups. I mean, that was quite an incredible,
Well, optics often doesn't really give you a reasoned, a reasoned understanding on how to exercise your vote. Optics are good.
He was exercising.
I know, exercising the vote is different from exercising. So that's it. And their content is the most important in elections in Kerala.
Are you saying that Rahul Gandhi's content is...
No, the content, is it acceptable or not? It's not that they don't have a content. But the point is that content acceptable to the electors? I don't think it is.
But swimming in the Arabian Sea, I mean, I think he's a pretty good swimmer, doing push-ups with one hand, with both his hands. That is not, the young people of Kerala are not buying that.
Not only that, no. What about their future? What about the job opportunities? What is the, how do they live their lives as they grow up? I mean, these are aspects that people expect the political leaders to, forget answering or giving a path, but at least understanding, comprehending.
So they saw it as a tamasha, what Rahul did.
No, I would say tamasha, but these are optics, okay, they're good, people love it, I get, but that doesn't really provide the content for why people should choose you.
So Rahul has failed, in a sense, to deliver the message.
No, I don't know if the Congress is going to, if they'll come out with their manifesto, so let's see what their content will be. They'll have to do it soon.
There isn't that much time left. So what would you say so far? It's your backyard. The Pinarayi Vijayan government seems to be doing quite well. Do you say that the Congress has failed to deliver its message?
No, that will, again, after the next few days is going to be crucial. How the Congress defines its approach to the people, etc., that we'll have to wait and see. They've not done it yet in a comprehensive manner.
So, Sitaram, let's come to the mother of all battles, which is West Bengal. A state that your party, the CPM, the Left Front, has led for 34 years, and when, of course, you lost abysmally 10 years ago to Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress. How do you see it today?
Well, that is because of a combination of factors. The fact that we withdrew support from the UPA pushed the index of opposition unity in Bengal became very, very strong.
Which you subsequently said was a mistake.
That was the manner in which it was done was a mistake. But the index of opposition unity going in there, and there you find the unity that was built up in those elections, from the ultra-left to the ultra-right, with the core being the TMC and the Congress alliance. Those were the circumstances in which that electoral loss was there. So, but that is entirely now, that is a period gone by, that is no longer relevant, why it happened and how it happened. But the question that remains right now...
But it was a historic mistake, would you say?
Well, that is now part of the history now, let's say.
But would you concede that it was a historic blunder?
That we have said what we had to say about the manner in which self-critically we said we handled that issue. We couldn't make the nuclear deal into a people's issue. That was a big setback, in fact. But anyway, that is all past history and no point now doing a post-mortem of that. But right now, the situation in Bengal is that as far as these youngsters and the youth is concerned, it's terrible in terms of unemployment. It's terrible in terms of seeking educational opportunities. And that's why you find suddenly in the last 1 decade, a huge exodus of the youth from Bengal going into either looking for work elsewhere. And you'll be surprised in places like Kerala, which last year, you find people speaking in Bengali, that I had to intervene and say, where have you come? He said they came all the way from Bengal looking for work.
But Mr. Yechury, I'm sure you've been asked this question very often, is that you ally with the Congress in Bengal, but you're in opposition, you're fighting them in Kerala. How do you explain this contradiction?
That is Indian, the nature of Indian politics. In 2004, if you remember, the left had 61 members in the Lok Sabha.
Right.
Out of the 61, 57 entered the Lok Sabha, defeating the Congress. And then this 57, including the other 4, 61, supported the UPA government of Manmohan Singh.
That's right.
So that is the nature, which is the absolute essential requirement in an election. Which party do you think should not control the reins of the government in India's interest, people's interest? That is the deciding issue.
What do you think?
That is the BJP today.
So what will you do to stop the BJP in Bengal?
Like what we are doing. And actually you find the BJP's graph plummeting now. Mr. Modi went there and he declared, I'm sorry to say, but media, I mean, I don't mean personally, but media only shows Mr. Modi speaking, saying that he is addressing the largest gathering in his life.
But he is a very charismatic leader. He is a very popular.
But you don't show the crowd to understand what was the ocean of a difference between the left and the Congress rally at the brigade on 28th of February and what Modi's rally was.
What was the difference?
The size. It was less than half. It was Modi's thing was less than half of what the left brigade rally was.
But people are saying that it was Abbas Siddiqui of the Indian Secular Front, the party that the Furfura Sharif cleric has floated. He's in alliance with you. He's the one who brought the people to that brigade ground rally.
I mean, anybody who was there, they were saying, he himself said that my people are there, but the bulk of the mobilization here is the left. In the speech, bulk of the mobilization is the left and particularly the CPIM. That he himself admitted, both the Congress leader also admitted. He said, don't give us any credit for joint thing. This is essentially a left front thing. So, I mean, that is what. I mean,
but why would you ally with somebody like the Furfura Sharif cleric?
You see, they are saying it is an Indian secular front. Now, the point here at issue is, as I told you, the target, what is it? To keeping BJP away from the reins of power. Now, what people do in their personal life is not the bother in politics. What is now, I mean, likewise, why is this question never asked that why are all these pundits and peers and the Hindu saints and sons with the BJP?
But they are not speaking whether the... So, sure, that's a valid question.
What is Yogi Adityanath?
No, but Yogi Adityanath has a right to join politics.
Exactly.
Just
so why doesn't Siddiqui have?
Because Mr. Siddiqui has been, the speeches that he makes are openly communal. Several of them, you know that.
I mean, the UPCM doesn't. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. Jyoti, please understand.
But do you accept...
you can't have different yardsticks.
But do you accept that Abbas Siddiqui's speeches, several of them are communal?
I mean, what he does in his personal life, as I said, we believe in one thing. Religion, your religiosity, your adherence to any faith is your personal belief. It has to remain at that level, which will be protected by the state and the constitution. There cannot be any mixing up of your religion or your religiosity with politics or the running of the state administration. And here you have the Prime Minister of India, the President of India, the UP Chief Minister, the UP Governor, all sitting for the construction of the Ram Mandir.
But that is, again, you can argue in the same token in their private capacity.
No, by private, is it? Is it the private capacity? Have they declared? Is the Prime Minister of India, he is the chairman of the construction of the temple.
He is an Indian citizen. He is Prime Minister on the one hand, but
why that yardstick there and why not here?
Okay.
That is the politics. That is the politics that is being played, which is blatantly.
I'll tell you what the difference is. The Bharatiya Janata Party has never said that it is not, that it will not mix religion with politics. But at the Brigade Ground rally, there was this big banner which said Amrai Bikolpo, Amrai Dharma Nirpeksh, Amrai Bhovishyat. I think my Bengali is really bad, but basically Amrai Bikolpo. We are the option. We are the alternative. Amrai Dharma Nirpeksh. We are not religious. We are Dharma Nirpeksh. We are secular. But if you ally with somebody like Abbas Siddiqui, you're certainly not secular.
No, but that, you see, he has formed a party called the Indian Secular Front. You ally with you ally with the Indian Union Muslim League. That is secular. That's secular, is it?
He is secular.
No, but why? With the name Muslim in the party, that's secular.
But what's in the name?
What do you call Vishwa Hindu Parishad is secular.
No, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, I mean, I don't need to tell you, but that's not part of the BJP.
No, but how many of their candidates are there as BJP candidates? So, both you have the same yardstick for everybody. And that is where do not mix religion with politics, which the BJP openly says it does.
Right.
So that in itself, that itself takes away its credibility and its credentials to the foundational values of the Indian Constitution.
So did that mean that because the BJP was doing that, you also felt that it was okay?
No. I mean, we are not doing it because somebody else is doing something. We are saying that we are aligning with those forces who today want to save India from this completely destructive direction in which we are going to undermining the very constitution that created independent modern India.
So you think Abbas Siddiqui will help you save India?
It'll help us save from the forces who want to destroy India.
You believe that?
Yes, it is part of that alliance, and that is the Vikalpo which you saw in the brigade.
But actually the BJP, Mr. Yechury, is quite happy that the Congress and the left are allying with Abbas Siddiqui, because they are saying, theek hai, 30% of the Muslim vote, which is a big chunk of the vote, of course, in West Bengal, let it go to the left and to the Congress and to Mr. Siddiqui. We will get the rest of the lower caste vote, the Namar Shudras.
So they claim.
Yes, they do claim that.
They claim that. I mean, claiming is anybody can claim anything. But what is the reality?
What is the reality?
What is the reality? It is they are putting up candidates from Namar Shudras, from the Dalits, from the Adivasis, from the LBGT, the Indian Secular Front. It's not only Muslim candidates.
Who is putting up candidates from the
Indian Secular Front.
Okay.
They are putting up candidates. I mean, what you are charging of saying that only Muslim.
Right.
That is wrong. And secondly, this entire polarization which they think they were hoping that the Muslims with Trinamool Congress, which is what the traditional place, so the Hindus will come to them. And the anti-incumbency against Trinamool Congress, which they reaped during the parliament election, they thought, they still think that it's going to help them again this time.
What do you think?
Of course not, because it is the left Congress, I mean this combination that is coming. No, but that takes away the anti-incumbency away from Mamata and also not allow it to go to the BJP.
How can you have both, Sitaram?
It is natural. It is natural. You don't like Mamata Banerjee, for instance.
Okay.
And the alternative is the BJP. You will vote for the BJP. But here, you have me in between. You don't like the BJP's politics also, but because there was no choice, you did it in the parliament election. Now you have the choice. That is how it happens both ways. Both happen together.
No, so you're cutting the anti-Trinamool vote?
Anti-incumbency vote of the Trinamool, stopping it from going to the BJP. And that is why defeating the Trinamool is also important in order to defeat the BJP.
I mean, that's a really complex triangle that you're creating. But the question is, and let me ask you a simpler question, your allying or your alliance, it's going to detract from the Trinamool, which is the chief challenger to the BJP?
No, I mean, Trinamool has done business with the BJP a number of times in the last 2 decades. The chief minister herself was a minister in Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. Not once, twice. They were in alliance with the BJP. If there's a hung assembly in Bengal this time, given this track record of the Trinamool, how can you say with surety that Trinamool will not do business with BJP again?
The left front, maybe not the CPM, but the CPI has supported the Indira Gandhi government during the emergency. Okay, she was not the BJP, of course, she was the Congress party. Indrajit Gupta, a senior leader of the CPI, was supporting against the United Front.
We also supported UF. We formed the UF. Yeah. And in fact, Jyoti Malhotra was offered the prime ministership then. You know all that background. But the point is, you see, the question of saying the Trinamool is the principal enemy of the BJP, that in itself, there's a huge question marks on it. Who brought the BJP into Bengal? Who aligned with them? Who get into the electoral alliance? Who went into a political alliance and joined their governments?
But Mr. Yechury, your CPM cadres shifted en masse to the BJP.
That's wrong.
Because they felt that they could not be protected by you anymore.
I just told you that the anti-incumbency against Trinamool was cashed in by the BJP.
But that is the reality.
No, that's not the reality. That was because the reality was that there was no alternative then. In the parliament election, Congress fought separately, CPM fought separately, all the other forces fought separately. Today they are united. That is the difference.
So what happened 10 years ago when the CPM cadres, they believed that the party could not protect them any longer, and that they moved to the BJP, they shifted to the BJP because they thought the BJP could protect them.
Yeah, that because they saw that the BJP was the only alternative. What I explained to you.
So you can see that they shifted.
No, I mean our vote, traditional vote, it's not cadre. Our traditional vote went to the BJP for the right reason that you're saying, for protection, etc., which they thought that was the only alternative. Mm-hmm. But that is not that will not happen now because they see this alternative. Even if they were anti-communal forces, they still voted for BJP in order to survive. But this time it won't happen.
So how do you see what unfolds in West Bengal today?
What I see unfolding in West Bengal is that the BJP not winning, Trinamool also not going, and there's a big possibility. Let's see how the campaign now begins. 8 phases. It's a huge and it's a huge exercise that goes on. Well, anyway, why 8?
Why do you think it's 8 phases?
The Election Commission did not. We asked him. I asked him personally. I asked the day they announced, but there's no answer. But anyway, why I think the 8 phases is the BJP is bereft of leaders or cadre to cover the whole state. Different phases means the cadre and their leaders can move from one phase to another phase. It makes it easier for them.
Okay, let's talk about Assam. Again, you have allied with the Congress and the AUDF in Assam. But the BJP is winning according to the opinion polls that are coming out.
Well, opinion polls are opinion polls. Let's wait and see. But in Assam, it's not going to be such an easy battle that the BJP is thinking it is. This is a formidable, because you see, we are again aligning, means we align because of a political understanding. And that understanding is, in today's conditions, BJP must be kept away from controlling the reins of administration and government in the interest of India and the Indian people. That's our understanding. And in order to do that, we are saying that we'll cooperate with all other forces who are willing to achieve that objective.
Even if it's contradictory?
To what?
No, whether it's in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Bengal.
Wherever in that situation, concrete situation, who can best achieve that purpose? That is the situation. That is the reality. And that's why politics is not arithmetic. You can't put 2 and 2 together and say 4 in politics. 2 and 2 in politics could be 22 or it could be 0 also.
But Mr. Yechury, you must concede that the Prime Minister is an extremely charismatic character, that the BJP has expanded its influence across the country. So there must be something right that he's doing.
No, but why? It could also happen for different reasons.
What are those?
Arouse communal passions, create enmity. Haven't we seen the partition of this subcontinent? You're forgetting all that history.
Surely we are not surely we are not on the cusp of another partition.
No, I'm saying you're forgetting all that history, how people can be mobilized. So the point is not only charisma. What do you think? Atal Bihari Vajpayee had less charisma? Why did he lose? Please, therefore, go by what are people's reasoning on what are the issues.
But can you explain to me, if you remember a couple of years ago, Home Minister Amit Shah made some comments about Bangladeshi infiltrators coming into India, into West Bengal, where he said कि ये दीमक की तरह हैं और मैं इनको बंगाल की खाड़ी में, Bay of Bengal में मैं उनको फेंक दूंगा. To the credit of the Home Minister, to Mr. Amit Shah, he has not made those statements again.
So what is the credit there?
The credit is that he has held his...
No, the discredit is that he made those statements.
Yes, but then he was reprimanded. We believe he was reprimanded. That polarization...
Once is he on record of withdrawing those statements? Not once. He called them termites. And today, Sheikh Hasina says there's more migration of Indians into Bangladesh because their economic situation is much, much better than ours.
But the...
there's a reverse migration going on.
But the Prime Minister and Sheikh Hasina have made up. In fact, the PM is going for the Bangabandhu celebration later in March. My question is that kind of rhetoric is no longer... You don't see the BJP indulging in that kind of rhetoric this time.
Yeah, whatever that is, but the question is, diplomacy is not the answer for making a... Xi Jinping and Narendra Modi sat on the same, jhula in Gujarat. What have been made up?
Well,
So I mean, don't be so facetious in these matters. You see, we have to understand what is the actual issues. Again, optics is not the answer. So what is the fundamental basis on which you are operating? That itself is defective, means that's a problem.
And in Bengal, you feel that there will be a hung assembly?
They could be. I'm not saying there will be. They could be.
There were some of your cadres in Bengal also, perhaps in the early days, felt that you should ally with the Trinamool Congress, because if you have to stop the BJP, that's the strongest party.
That is the surest way of making BJP win. Surest way. Because when I align with Trinamool, anti-incumbency against Trinamool, there is no other alternative. Everything goes to the BJP.
So last couple of questions. In Tamil Nadu, you are allying with the DMK again, with the Congress party. Now, how do you look at Shashikala's exit from politics?
Well, that is something we are trying to understand, I mean, why she did what she did. But definitely there's been some pressure at work. And what it is, we will not know till she herself clarifies sometime. So that is it. But anyway, it has come as a big relief for the AIDMK. So for them, they think that, but still, what Dinakaran will do, that is also a big question mark for them. It's not yet clear.
And my last question to you is about the India-China face-off in Ladakh. For 9 months this has been going on. Now there is disengagement in the Pangong Tso area. Your comments on that?
Well, we had supported the Indian government completely when he said this must be a matter that should be resolved through talks and through discussions and not through military confrontation. And when the government made that statement in that all-party meeting, I told the Prime Minister Mr. Modi that you will have our full support for this approach.
Was there did the Communist Party of China reach out to you, to your party in any way?
Not on this issue, no.
So in these past 9-10 months, there has been absolutely no conversation or anything
on the dispute, no. And this is a matter between the governments of India and the government of China. And the government of India has taken an approach which we supported.
Right.
And then that should be the way it is done. But questions still remain. So why did they come in? Are they inside our territory or not? But on that, there is no clarity that the government has not answered, despite asking the Prime Minister directly on a virtual, source. He said, no, nobody has entered our territory. Good. The Prime Minister says so.
Mr. Sitaram Yechury, thank you so much for your time and for speaking to ThePrint, and we wish you all the best, your party, in the elections in the coming
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.